welcome. Today's session is creating digital activities. My name's Sarah Whitaker, and I'm the Senior Project Manager for mLearning Professional Development. Just a few reminders again, please keep your audio on mute throughout the session unless you have a question that you want to ask. You can ask questions in the chat room. Christine will be there monitoring the chat room and answer any questions that she can. If she can't answer the question, then she'll refer back to me. The session will be recorded. Again, I will be muting your faces unless you ask a question, then I'll ask you for permission before I post it in any social media sites like YouTube or iTunes U, so don't worry about that. You can find the recordings again in iTunes U, the EdTech webinar course, and I'll be sending out a link to everybody as well afterwards with the survey. Okay. Right now, we're going to be looking at learningapps.org. So I sent everybody before this webinar a link to join learningapps.org. I'll go into that in just a little bit, but basically what learningapps.org is, it's a Web 2.0 application where teachers can create interactive activities, what they call apps, that can be played on laptops or mobile devices. Okay, so I'm going to go right into it and just give you two example activities. So the first example activity I'm going to show you is a matching activity. Okay, and so I'm just going to close that and open up for my students view. Okay, you can see this is a matching activity. So basically just get a little bit of instructions at the beginning, match the gesture image with the correct word and click OK. And basically all the students need to do is match. If they get the right match, it's green and they disappear. You as a teacher can choose whether the items disappear off the screen or they stay on. So just keep that in mind. If they make something that's wrong, it's red and it stays, and they just click to undo it. And then they try to find the right one and they go, oh, yay, I got it. Okay. And as they continue on, they will slowly get all the answers. You know, get it. There we go. Tap, two finger, and they'll get a little message at the end that they've got all right. So, right, great. You found all the right solutions. If the student wants to do it again, they can do it again by clicking on that little green. And they say, oh, great, you found the right solution. Well, the reason they're doing that is because they're actually, I'm logged in as a student, and it's just showing that I've done it. So what I can do is go back to my home page again here, and I can start doing the app again. So you can see here, this is just an account, a test account that I created. And this is my class. So if I click on my class, I'm going to show you one other one just as an example. This is international cinema, so where, what. And so I have to watch the video trailers that I got from YouTube, and I need to match it to the correct country. The great thing about this game is that I don't need to play alone. I can play with my friends. So anyone who is also logged in at the same time can play the game with me. If I choose that, I say here, I'm going to choose my name. I'll just keep it to player 1 today. And I could choose my icon. Okay. And then I can see what other players are online with me. Right now, there's nobody there, so I can just choose the computer and start playing the game. Okay. So the YouTube video will come up. I'll click play. I'll watch the video, and then I choose OK, and I've got to choose the correct country in the world that that video belongs to. So I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to confirm my answer. And I got it right. There's little green, and I get 1 point. Okay. Then it's the computer's choice or my partner's choice. They go ahead and choose the right answer, and so on. And so you see who gets the most points at the end. Okay. So this is just an example of 2 of the apps that you can do in the learningapps.org. Okay. I'm just going to go out of that. So this is just giving you a little bit of a brief overview of the student side of life. They'll have my class or my apps. Students can also create apps, which is great, and then they can share it with each other. So it's not just teachers creating the apps, students can also create the apps. So this is my class. You could see the teacher's name, Sarah, And these are all of the apps that I've assigned to the student. Now you can see here just up on the right-hand side, the little green check mark. That means that I've completed that activity. So I've completed that activity and it's been communicated to my teacher that I've done that activity. Okay, I can always complete it again. If I want to, I can practice as many times as I want. I just need to click on that app again and open it a second time. Okay, if I want to share those apps with my students, it's the same with a teacher. So the teacher will see the same interface down here at the bottom, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I can share it by web link. I can share it in the full screen link, and that's what we saw earlier. This was the full screen link. And I can also embed it into a website. Also, there's 3 other options down at the bottom here, which is SCORM. So if you want to SCORM the activity in Blackboard, for example, so you want to monitor and track what the students do, the students don't then need to log into learningapps.org. They would just get the activity within Blackboard itself. Just be careful with the SCORMing, however, because it's not compatible with iPads, unfortunately. No problem on laptop, but just not compatible on iPads. However, if you just give them the full screen link, they can do it on iPads, the web link, the embed, no problem. It's iPad compatible. And the students don't need to log in if you're sharing it with these 3 options. If you're sharing it through the class, then you have options to monitor and track the students, but it's not necessary. You also have an iBooks author way of sharing with them. So basically it will download into a widget, and then you just insert that widget into your iBooks. Works perfectly. Again, the students do need to have internet access to complete the activity, but it's completely compatible with iPads and also with the MacBooks. And then there's the developer source. So if you are really into developing, you know, coding, you can work on that. You also have the QR code that you can share it with as well. If you're in any apps, you're browsing within the apps and you see one that you like, you can always bookmark in my apps here on the right. Also on the left here, you can see that there's create a similar app. So basically, if you click on that, you're going to create the exact same app that you have, and then you could just replace a few things. Or if you click on this little arrow, you can see you can create a new empty app with this template. So if you just like the template, you could do it. If you want to see what other people have made with this template, you can also browse other apps of this template. Okay, so that's basically the student view of learningapps.org. Okay, I'm just going to minimize that and open up the teacher view here. Good. Okay, and so as a teacher, you go into the app. I'm just going to put full screen here. So you go into the app, this is your home screen here, and you can see this is my classes up on the right-hand side. So this is my test class. This is the link that I sent out to you yesterday to join, and I can see I have 23 students in my class right now. So if I click onto that, I can see the list of all of my students here. Okay, so there's my test student and everybody else. I can send my students emails individually, or if I just go back into that class here, I can send to my students an email as a whole class. Now, if my students have logged in and they've added an email address, the email will go to their email address. If they didn't add an email address, it's not necessary for them to do that. They'll simply just get a message up here on the top corner. So if you want to just make sure that your students know that they have homework to do, anything, you can do that. As well, you can see the statistics of what your students have and have not done. So if you click onto that, just give it a second, it will upload. It will show me exactly what student has done what. And I could see here we have an excellent student, Christine Jones, well done, doing a lot of work today. It shows if they've accessed the app, which is the red and with the X, it means that they haven't completed it yet. They haven't done the whole app or finished the activity correctly. The green check mark means that they accessed the app and they finished it. You can also see how long it took them. So you can see when they did it and how many seconds it took them to complete that activity. Okay. Just going to close that. I'm just going to go back into my student's account. Really important for teachers. This is a fantastic thing, and I'm just warning you right now. I'm going to remove you all from my classroom because I do have a little bit of power over you, and the power comes with the passwords. So you can see here that I cannot see the passwords here, but I have the little settings or the little tool app here, and I can change the password if I want to. So right now, if a student of mine, so that's the password that I created for the student, if they forget their password, they can always try to forget password in learningapps.org. That's not a problem. But if they didn't put in an email address, then they're not going to be able to recover their passwords. But you as a teacher can create a new password. So I'm just going to create my password. And the password was changed successfully. I can let the student know that their password has been changed. I can also scroll down and I can print account and password lists. Just important to know, I'm just going to cancel that so you can see the screen. I can see all of my students, but I cannot see their passwords. I can only see the passwords that I created. So that's why I am going to remove you from the course so that I don't have access to your passwords. But I'll do that in a week or two so you have a chance to play with the apps and see what the program looks like from the student perspective. And then you have full access to everything again. Again, remember I sent you that email invite to join my class, and that's how I did this, was by just clicking on to invite students, okay? And I just sent that link to my class, okay? I'm just going to move back. Also, I can create additional student accounts. So if I just click onto there, I just need to put in a name and a last name and just click OK, and it will automatically create a login name and a password for me. So there's no need for me to do that. But I can also just copy and paste in a list of student names here. Easy as, and just click save. And so now I have a new person added to my class, okay? I can also here, just be careful with this. This is the most important thing. I can remove students from my class by clicking on that X. And so it just removes the account from my class. That's all. If I click onto that, you'll get a little message saying, do you want to remove the account test 432 from this list permanently? The account and created content are not deleted. So this is important. I can click OK or cancel. If I click here, that little trash bin, it means the account will be deleted. So be really careful about which one you're choosing to use. Again, you'll always get a little pop-up to warn you, but important to know the difference between the little X and the trash bin. I promise I will not trash bin any of your accounts. I will just X them, so I'll remove them from my class, okay? So when I'm looking, I can see here on the right-hand side my class folder. And this is just showing all the apps that I have currently have added for you to look at, okay? I'm going to also add an app here. So if I just click on Add App, I can see these are my apps that I have in my bookmark or apps that I've created. So I'm going to add the tool review. So those people who have access to this, they can go ahead and start looking at the tool review. So tool review is here. It's actually not so much an app, but a tool. And I'm asking about this tool, the learning apps, and it's just a voting app. So you can click onto it, take a second load, and answer the pool question. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go to voting. And my question is just, what do you think of this tool? And you choose one of the colors, and then you can see what the results are. Right now, everybody is green. It looks like looks okay. I'll need more time to investigate, which is great. Okay. I'm just going to click on to my apps. So I clicked on my apps, and you can see here, I can have bookmarks or folder, in my apps. So I can put my apps, organize them by folder. Okay. There's also just the apps that are not in any specific folder here. And then at the very bottom, I have my classes. So I'm just going to go to class. I'm going to add one more app for you to view, and that is the tool of discussion. So it's just a discussion board, actually. This is fantastic because it's usually with discussion boards, you have do them in iTunes U or you have to do them in Blackboard. Here, actually, you can get your students to discuss something online and you can use a single discussion tool, which is fantastic. So I'm going to add that for you so you can look at the question, the discussion. Just a few things to be aware of about this chat, however, is you have some editing options. So I'm going to show you how to edit the tool in just a second. But so you put your full name, or at least your first name, choose a color and log in. And now I'm part of the chat. So I can just say, I can add, what do you think? And send. And then I can wait and see what everybody else is saying in the chat room. Now, really important for you as a teacher, you have a few things that you can change with this app. You can save the chat so that anytime that somebody goes into it, they'll see the chat and will get logged and saved. Or you can use it as one time in your class and use it, have everybody log in, and then once you log out, the app gets deleted. So you don't get to see the app afterwards or get to see the chat afterwards. A few other things just to remember is, as a teacher, you don't have control over the users in this chat room. Okay, so I cannot delete what my students have said, but I can remove the app and I can stop the conversation instantly. So if I just click on that edit, then I can choose to save the chat history, so I can remove it. If I unclick that, it will just delete the chat history completely and remove it. I'm just going to leave it on so that people can participate in the chat room. Okay, so just important to remember when you're using the chat room. Now, so that's just giving you a little bit of an idea. What we want to do is we want to try and find other apps that we can create. And there's actually quite a lot of templates available in the learningapps.org. So you can find different apps by clicking up here. You can browse the apps, okay? And you can choose the different categories here. So if you want to use English as a foreign language, just click onto that. And when you just put your cursor over any of the apps, you can see some of the information. First, if you're teaching in English, you want to see that little English sign up on the right-hand side. You can see if it's been rated or not, how many people have viewed. Usually the higher number of views means the better the app is. You can also see what template they use. So this person used multiple choice quiz, who created it, and what the title of this app is. You can also click up here in the search in apps and just put in something that you're interested in or something that you're looking for. So for me, I'm going to look for the superlative and click enter. And it's going to show me all of the apps that are available in the superlative. So here there is a comparative and superlative adjective app, okay? Now, remember, I was in the category English as a foreign language, so it's showing me everything in that category. If I just click on browse and I remove my category and I research again, superlative, you'll see that I get a lot more, okay? Also, I have my class open from elementary all the way to vocational and further education. So I can see even more apps available on learningapps.org. Just be aware that these are teachers from around the world creating these apps. So they may not have put in all of the details when you first start creating an app, like the language, which level it's for, which category it belongs to. So just to open up your scope a little bit more, you want to try to browse all apps and keep open all your class levels. So I'm going to look at this one, superlative adjectives. It's in English. And it will open up and you can see very similar. So write the superlative forms and the adjectives to complete the sentences. So you get your little information at the beginning, you click OK. And now here I can say Australia is, of course, I have great English, so I'm going to be able to do this very quickly. And I go through at the very bottom, I check solution, and I can see all the ones I got right, wrong, and the one I did get right. Now, I love this app, and I want to use it with my students. However, I don't want to use it about Australia and Sydney. I want to use it about United Arab Emirates. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Create Similar App. Okay, and here you'll notice I have everything is the same. And now I can just replace the text that I want to replace and create my own app. It's that easy, okay? Now, I'm just going to click backwards because I'm not going to create the app today. If I want to create a similar app but with an empty template, I can just click here on that little arrow and click New App with an empty template. And now it's empty again, okay? So I can put in my title, okay? Put in a task description for my students. I can choose the task type. So for this one, it's a close exercise. So I can select word from list, or I can write in, have the students actually write in the word. So I'm going to do select word from list. I can put in a headline if I want. And here is my closed text. So I have a text ready for me. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. Okay. And it's easy. They give you all the instructions in English. It's pretty easy to follow. So they just ask you to use -1- as placeholders. So I've put in my dashes here. And so now I just need to put my words in. So close one, this is where my first dash goes. And my second dash is here. Okay. And okay, so there we go. And feedback is okay. I can choose a different background image. I'm just going to leave it as it is. And I'm going to finish editing and show preview. Okay, so you can see how easy it is actually to create the apps and how quickly it is. Of course, now it's taking a minute because I'm online with the webinar, but usually it's very quick when they're finishing and editing the preview. Okay, while I'm waiting for this to go ahead and finish. I'm just going to close that, click in here. Okay, the other thing that you can do instead of just browsing the apps or searching the apps is you can just go right to create app. And when you click on create an app, they give you the instructions at the top. It's very easy. You have an idea, you pick a template, you fill in the context, you save your app, and then you share your app. Just be aware when you're sharing your apps, you have two options. Let's just see if this is finished. The request maybe deleted by another author. Okay, we'll just save it and we'll see what happens. Just want to show you, I'm actually going to go to one of my apps that I've already created. Let me go to the gesture app. Really important when you're sharing your apps, you have two options here. You have private and public. When you choose public, that's when you can be able to search, that's when you're able to search other people's apps. So people will be able to search your app. It's great, especially if you're sharing this app with other teachers. You don't need to constantly send them the link. They can just see the app completely on learningapps.org. Or if you really want to just keep it for your students only, you can keep it as a private app, and only those people with the link or with the SCORM or the iBooks author widget can access the app. Okay, so just be aware that you can make it private and public. Okay, so you have an idea, pick a template. So you can see all the different templates are available here. And in that class folder, I did give you a range of templates that you can look at. But of course, in this short webinar, it's not possible to go through all of the templates you can see. When you're choosing the template, most of the time they'll give you an example, and they usually give you quite a few different examples. So you have example 1, example 2, and example 3. So it's just so that you can get an idea of what you can do with the app, what it's going to look like, and then you can change all the content afterwards. Just be aware that sometimes the example is not in English, it's in German. So you can see here you have the German calendar. And again, the example is in German because I believe this is a German company that's created this, but you can still get an idea of what it looks like and what the interactions are. When you go to create the app, you don't have to worry. Usually or actually always, the instructions are in English. So you just have to make sure that the English up here is chosen, the display language. Okay. So let me just make sure that I've gone through everything that I wanted to go through. I'm just going to minimize this and go back to the keynote presentation. Okay. So just a quick review of what we looked at. So sharing apps with your class, you can add apps to your app folder, browse apps, make sure you bookmark them, and when you see an app that you really like, so that will go into your app folder and it's easy to share with your students afterwards. You can also view what type of template they used, and you can create new apps specifically with apps that have already been created. You could just adjust them, or you can just share those apps as they are with your students. When you're browsing the apps, you can choose a subject, or you can just do a general search, or you can do a search within that subject. Make sure you look for the language icon so you know that you're not wasting your time looking at the German apps or the French apps. You're wanting the English apps. You can bookmark them and add them easily to your apps class folder. So those are all the different language or categories that you can look up in the learningapps.org. Creating apps, very easy because it's very visual in learningapps.org. Always, again, there is some examples sometimes in German, but actually after the editing, it's all in English, so you don't have to worry. So creating the apps, very easy. Sharing the apps, very easy. Monitoring your students and what they've done, really easy. Unfortunately, you don't get all of the details, like how many times they did the app, you know, exactly what they got right and wrong in the first time they did the app, but you can still see if they've done it, and if they've done it in 20 seconds, you know, maybe they were just copying it from a friend, where if they've done it in 116 seconds, they were actually trying to do the app. Okay, quite a few different templates that you can choose from. And that's all I have to share with learningapps.org. I hope that gave you a brief introduction into what is available on the website and how you can use it with your students. If you have any questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away.
Sarah, there's been a question about Arabic support.
This is a really good question. I cannot write Arabic. There is no Arabic support, so that you cannot, when you're actually in the app, I'm just going to show you my screen again. When you're here, these are the only languages. They're European languages only, so Spanish, French, German, English, obviously. There is no Arabic here. If you are typing in here, let me just check and see. You can type in, I know that's not a word in Arabic, I'm just typing in my keyboard, but you can type in Arabic. Whether it displays correctly and everything, I do need somebody to test that. So if somebody would like to test that, get back to me and I can share that information with everybody. That would be great. But you can type any text that you want in any of the rows. Okay. Any other questions?
There's a question about the PowerPoint that you're, I guess, presenting. Will that be available?
Yes, that will be available in the iTunes U EdTech course. Okay, is that everything then?
That's all I can see.
Excellent. Okay, great. So if there's any other questions later on, you can just send me an email, or you can put it in that discussion board that I started in the classroom. I will remember, for anyone who has joined the class, I promise you I will not change your passwords. I will not mess with your accounts, and I will remove you in about 1 week time. So I'll send out a group email to all of the students that are in that class and let you know that I will be deleting your account. So if there are any apps that you like that are in that classroom right now, you might want to just bookmark them so that they're saved in your account and not just saved in the class. So with that, I'll say thank you very much and happy weekend to everyone. And we'll see you next time. I will send out a survey today as well. If you could fill out the survey just to let me know what you would like to see in future webinars, that would be great. Okay, thank you. Have a good weekend.